I'm here to talk about power pocket scrapping. So today I have a whole lot of photos to scrap, and these are all everyday photos, so they're nothing special and they're not edited or anything. They're just snapshots that I took. They're almost all from my camera, well, they're all from a camera. They're almost all from my phone camera. And today I'm challenging myself to use all of the cards in this Life Noted kit from November. So these are all the cards. The kit comes with 24 3x4 cards, and it comes with 6 4x6 cards. And the idea around pocket scrapbooking is that, of course, you can use it for whatever you want, and you can embellish as much as you want. You can change it up as much as you like. But the original reason that I got into pocket scrapbooking way back, I think it was 2011 when I started, was the idea of a Design A page protector. I'm just going to grab a template for a second. A Design A page protector, which looks like this, where you can put your 4x6 photos right here, and then put your journaling cards right here, and have a little bit of journaling for each of your cards, a title card. And if you put 2 of these like this, that's enough for 1 photo per day of the week, because there's 8 slots for 4x6 photos, 1 for a title for the week, and then the rest are the photos. And then there are 8 slots for journaling cards, where you could use 1 as a filler, and then the rest is journaling for each of those photos. That's probably the most basic and streamlined way that I have done my pocket scrapbooking. And what I've done was I went through a huge stack of old photos, and from way before I met my husband, and just as a young person, and I scrapbooked all of my old photos that way. And I actually didn't have a ton of journaling because a lot of the photos just they were kind of just like pictures of me being silly or whatever. So I didn't actually need that many journaling pieces, but I still kind of did it that way. And that's kind of the most basic streamlined pocket scrapbooking that I can think of. And so today I'm going to be doing something very similar to that, where I'm going to have these. I'm going to be using Design A page protectors, and I'm going to be putting photos in these slots right here, and then putting all of my cards and stuff in these. There's going to be a little bit of variation, but not a whole lot. I'm going to be doing, get ready for it, 6 of these today. That's my goal. I'm going to check the time and see if that's a reasonable goal. It's 9:43, so we'll see if I can get through 6 of those pages in one day. I'm a pretty slow scrapper, but the idea of this is that I wanted to see how much you can streamline. Or how much I can streamline. So I have the kit here, and again, my goal is to use up all of these cards and most of these photos. I'll talk about my photos in a second. And the kit comes with some other embellishments, like some letter stickers and some stickers and some rub-ons. And I cut apart all of my Ormolu cut-aparts that came in this kit. So I have those all ready to go, and there's a stamp set as well, and some really nice wood veneer and some little embellishments. And I also have the print and cuts here, which I'm just going to dump in with these embellishments so that all my embellishments are together. So there we go. So the prep work that I've done is I pre-cut my cut-aparts, I printed and trimmed all of my photos. I'll talk about that in a second. And then I have this right here. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips for power scrapping, because I've done this before, as I said, with my big stack of old photos, but I didn't record it or share it or anything because it's just really, really plain. So the first tip is to streamline as much as you can. So I printed all of my photos at the same size. So when I talk about streamlining, I'm thinking about page protectors. So I'm using just Design A so that I don't have to figure out which photos go where and which is going to fit. It's just easy for me to just do it this way. If you have another page protector that's your favorite one to use, just use that one. But the best way to streamline is to just use the same page protector, because if I use one like this, then I have to figure out what I'm going to do on the other side. The pockets are that way too, so I'm just going to stick with Design A. Then for photo sizes, I like to streamline my photo sizes too. So in this pile here, I have 27 photos that are printed at 2.8 by 2.8. The reason I chose this size, this is not the size I usually use for my pocket scrapbooking, but the reason I chose this size is that it could go, I had a lot of them, so printing smaller is better because you can fit more on a page, but also these can go in these pockets or in these pockets or even doubled up in these pockets right here. So that gives me a lot of options, and I don't have to think about which size photo goes where. Almost all my photos are like this. Ideally, if I really wanted to streamline it, I would have only photos that were one size. And ideally, what I would love is to just have 4x6s that I can just slip into these pockets. But I have not been taking many 4x6 photos. In fact, I didn't take any this month. So I went through and my goal was to just print everything in 4x6. But then I realized I couldn't do that because I don't actually have a single 4x6 photo on my photo stream right now. So I changed my plan. It would be way more streamlined if I could just stick pictures into pockets and have those fill up those pockets, and then I just have to do my journaling on these ones. But this will work too. So this will be slightly less streamlined than I would like it to be, but still having all the photos almost the same size helps. I did print 2 photos smaller. These are the only 2 photos that really have to go together, so they could fit in one of these pockets if I had to, but they could also fit right into one of these and have some journaling on them. Also, these are quite blurry, so I wanted them a little bit smaller. So I have those as my only exception to the square rule. And then I had to go onto Facebook because I didn't have a picture of this event. So I went onto Facebook and printed up this photo really quickly, and it was 4x6, so I'll just stick that into a pocket. And then I had a couple of portrait oriented, so these are more the vertical oriented photos, and for these I would have lost I couldn't trim this down to that size without losing the something important in the photo. So these I printed at, and there's only 3 of them, I printed at 2.8 by 3.8, and then I trimmed it down a little bit more as I trimmed it, just so that it could have a border on it in my pockets. So I have 3 of those to work with. So for the most part, I'm working with these 3.8 by 2.8 by 2.8 photos, and then I have a little bit of variation. The other thing that I have done is, because I'm not using 4x6 photos that I can just stick into these pockets and not have to worry what else goes in the pocket, and the pocket, This Life Noted kit only comes with 6 of these. So if I have, I'm going to just show you my little map here. So my second tip is to do minimal planning, and this is the only planning that I've done, is this right here. So I know that 24 3x4 cards come in the kit, so I knew that I was working with 6 page protectors, and there are 6 4x6, so I figured one will go in each. They might not go in that exact spot, but one 4x6 card will go on each of these spreads. And then I just counted up the number of open 4x6 slots, so I needed 18 4x6 mats, or ideally, I would rather have 18 4x6 photos to put into there. Then I would have to deal with mats. But because I'm working with square photos and I have a lot more than 18 of them, I am going to have mats for all of these, which is just like a background that I can put these photos on, because I can't just slip this into the pocket because it'll be see-through and it'll shift around and be yucky. So what I did was, in addition to the kit, I'm using these grid cards. So I had a handful of these grid cards. They're made by Studio Calico, and I had just some left over from when I used to subscribe to Studio Calico. I think I had like 7 of them, but I needed more because I needed 18. So I just took a piece of grid paper. I have a bunch of this. I think it came in a pack or something, all of these grids. And they're just really plain, subtle grids that I just cut 2 pieces of this paper into, you can evenly cut. You can get 4x6. No, you can get 6 4x6 cards out of a piece of 12x12 paper. So for me, I just wanted these mats to be fairly neutral. So I just made them be these kind of plain grid cards. And they're slightly different designs, but they're pretty much a neutral grid card. You could cut up a bunch of pattern paper or use some 6x6 paper pads. Would be a great way to actually use up 6x6 paper pads. Or you could use the Becky Higgins grid cards that you can buy, or I'm just going to get you one more option. The other option is to buy a package of cue cards from, you know, the dollar store or something. These are grid cards that Craft and Kate sent me quite a long time ago. I love that they have a bold grid pattern on them as opposed to this, which is more of a subtle grid pattern. But for today's project, I didn't want the bold lines, so I'm not going to go with these, but it would have been a ton easier for me to just count out 18 of these. And you can get them plain too, and you could use the plain side of them if you didn't want the bold pattern. So that's something to think about. And I think you can even get these in different colors and stuff, because I know you can get the smaller size in different colors. So anyhow, and then this is what the Becky Higgins grid cards look like, and they come in 4x6 sizes as well. So there's a lot of different options for what you could do to come up with a really basic, easy to do, streamlined approach to filling in these cards if you don't have 4x6 photos like I don't. So that's what I'm doing. So I just have, I think I have more than 18. I need to have 18. And then the other thing that I decided to do was cut a bunch of 4x6 and 3x4 pieces of vellum. The reason I'm doing this is that I'm not sure that I'm going to need any 4x6 pieces of vellum, but it's easy enough to cut down 4x6 into 3x4, but you can't really put together two 3x4s. So I just decided I'll trim them up as I need them. But I cut a whole bunch of them because there are a couple of cards that are kind of in this month's kit that are pretty bold, and I might want to I think I'm going to have to do more journaling than what there are journaling cards for. So I noticed that there are a whole bunch of cards that have journaling, but there's also a whole bunch of cards that have beautiful designs on them, and I don't really want to cover up the designs, but I also want to make sure that I have room to do lots of journaling. So vellum gives you a chance to enjoy the design, but also I can do some journaling right on this, and the journaling in a black marker will really show up nicely, but you're still going to be able to appreciate the beautiful pattern that comes on this card. So that's my thought behind pre-cutting a bunch of vellum. And so I just have that there, and I probably won't need that much for this project, but I'll just put it into my scraps, my vellum scraps, when I'm done. All right, so just to streamline my process, I have counted out 18 mats. I have my 6 cards. I have my 24 3x4 cards, and so I don't have to plan this out. If I fill all of these and these and these, I should be able, if it all works out, I should be able to fill 6 page protectors, or well, 3 page protectors on both sides with these pocket cards. So we're going to see if that works. So here I go. All right, so I've used all of the This Life Noted cards for this month. That's what they look like. All of them are completed. I can't believe I did it. And I have some leftovers. Not too many though. I was pretty minimal in my decorating. It took me about 3 hours, and I scrapbooked more than 30 photos. I have this much stuff left. I have some rub-ons, some letter stickers, and some other stickers left, and that's about it, and some sequins. So now I'm just going to place these cards. So I have so much pocket page scrappy goodness for you guys that it won't even fit in my video screen when I have my camera in the regular spot. What I have here are 6 single-sided page protectors of pocket cards for scrapbooking. These are using the This Life Noted kit from November, and I used every single card in the kit from Scraptastic, and I scrapbooked 33 photos plus ephemera and a couple of extra stories and a whole bunch of decorative filler cards as well. So this is what the whole thing looks like. I'm going to put you back in my tripod so that I can share the individual cards with you guys. Okay, so I'm going to share these spreads with you guys 2 by 2. So here are the first 2 pages, which will actually be back to back, not facing each other like they are right here, because I'm just going to put this in my regular scrapbook in Design A Becky Higgins page protectors. So this these pages I did super fast. There's going to be a process video, but it's probably going to be a little bit delayed just because it's so long. But I did get a lot of requests for it, so I will go ahead and make one. I wasn't going to, but I did take the process just in case, so I'll put one together. So what I wanted to do with this one is really just share the content of it. And what I was doing was trying to scrapbook fairly quickly. I was doing what I consider power scrapbooking. So I'm going to share the cards with you guys now. So the first one is this 4x6 title card. It just says November on it, and I added these 3 rub-on chevrons just for a little bit of interest. I like the card so much just as it is that I decided to just leave it be. And that's one of my tips for power scrapbooking is to just not do too much embellishing. So I did very minimal embellishing on this whole thing. So this is 2.8 by 2.8 photos, and they are on one of those 4x6 grid cards that I cut up from grid paper, and did some journaling around the bottom, and I added this cut apart from Ormolu that came in the kit. Then this was the I am very busy card. I didn't really want to use that as an I am very busy sentiment, so I just covered it up, and it's orange, so it's sort of relevant to Halloween, and that's just how we decorated our door for Halloween. Then I have this card that has this 2.8 by 2.8 photo of us playing the game, well, it's just the game of The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Trivial Pursuit game, and then The Nightmare Before Christmas is on the TV in the background. And so I just did some journaling. I journaled on a piece of vellum so that I could still see the pattern, but that it wouldn't take away from the journaling. And then this is just How Big Is Your Brave, which is one of my favorite cards, so I just left it plain. And then this is that card there that says Oh So Thankful For. So I just made the photo cover up the Oh So Thankful For, and I just used the white box as a place to put the journaling about Olivia's Halloween outfit. So Halloween costume that I made for her. And then I used this Never Grow Up tag to put on these 2 photos of the dads and the kids at Halloween, the dads and the trick-or-treaters. And in our neighborhood, in our immediate neighborhood, we take turns. Like one year the dads go out with the kids and the moms stay home and give out treats. And then the other year the moms go out with the kids and the dads stay home and give out treats. So this year was the dad's turn, so they're all out together. And then our neighbors have a wing night. Usually it's a Halloween party, but this year it was a day after Halloween party. And so I took 2 pictures. These are my only 2 small photos in this whole spread. They're printed at 2 by 2, and that's because they were quite blurry. I didn't get good shots of these guys at all, so I wanted to include it. So I thought I'd rather have a low quality picture than no picture at all. So, and then there's my journaling. I just put it there. And then the lunch monitor was there. So I put a little arrow that says that, because that was kind of a fun surprise for us. So this is a 4x6 grid card that I have my photo on, and then calling it a day, and then a little bit of journaling, and then I just put the stitched rub-on right there, and that's just an offcut from one of the other 3x4 cards that I can't seem to find right now. And then for this one, I just this was a larger piece of paper, and I just took a grid card and just traced around it, and then I cut it out and mounted it onto the grid card. This is a portion of a picture that Sophie drew. Another filler cards. There are moments that I know that I will long for even as I live them. And then I took this Good Vibes wood veneer and I placed it at the bottom part so that it's sort of overlapping the little plus signs that are all gathered up there. It looks like they kind of all landed there. And then I just did some journaling about how Marcel listens to music and the big role that it plays in his life, and how nice it is that he has something that makes him happy without fail. And it does remind me of me, because I used to use music in the same way that he does and listen to it a lot when I was his age as well. Then I took this card and just did some journaling, and I made a mistake here. I was going to do like gray, pink, pink, gray. And then I completely forgot to go back to pink for this one. So it ends up just having one that's pink, but that's okay. So for the TV, I just put a little sampling of some of the things we're watching these days. For the food, I just put a couple of things that we've been eating lately. And then drink, just some things that we're drinking, like eggnog and SodaStream. For books, I put, like, Livy is reading warrior books, I'm reading The Handmaid's Tale, and Sophie's reading warrior manga. And then where we're at is mostly just around town, and we have been to New Glasgow as well. So I just use that as a little factual little card. And then this picture was printed at 2.8 at 3.8 by 2.8 by 2.8, like all of the other ones. Right there and there and there and there and there and there, except these two were 2-inch. But I just cut a part of it out so that I could have more room to do a little bit more journaling. And the journaling was taken just straight from one of my Instagram posts. I just thought that was cute. And then some foodie pics, cottage cheese and tomato on a bagel, and then this was a meal that Marcel was cooking for us. I can't remember what it was called, but it's meatballs. And then I had forgotten to put this in my pocket pages from September, and I found it this month, so I just wrote, Livy went to Peter Pan on Ice with Heather and Dave and Lorelei back in September, and I'm just finding the ticket now, and I just put magical, fun, and exciting in my own handwriting and stapled the ticket on with my tiny attacher. So far there's not, I mean, really in the whole thing, there's not a whole lot of techniques or anything. I'm really just using glue and adding photos and adding journaling is mostly what I'm doing, and then every here and there I'm putting a little sticker or wood veneer or a cutout I'm just gluing on. So it's pretty easy, and it has to be in order for me to be able to do the volume that I was looking to do. So that's the first two. Okay, so here are the second two pages, and it's really very similar to the other pages where it's mostly just pictures and journaling. I've got this photo here, and then I just took, this was a 3x4 card that I just put here, and then I layered it with one of the cut-aparts from Ormolu, and then I outlined everything just to give everything a little bit of dimension because there wasn't quite enough contrast between this pattern and this pattern, so I just outlined everything. And that's just about how I go to Michael's to get stuff for my Christmas village in November. And now these cards go together. So this is the 4x6 card, and it just has the two 3.8 by 2.8 photos. This one is of Olivia doing homework, and the cat was kind of crawling all over it. And then this is a picture of my desk. Tuesday and Wednesdays are the days that I go to work on those days, and the kids do their activities and homework and violin practice, and it's kind of like their work days for us. So, I mean, you know, we work more than just Tuesday and Wednesday, but those are days that are jam-packed with work, and I'm not around, so it's a busy day for Scott. So we've got that. And then this one points down, so this photo of Olivia doing her homework points down to this card, which says, homework time. Liv is always good about getting her homework done, especially when Nixie is around to, in quotations, help. And then math sheets. What's that? What I like about you. So yeah, she's doing math sheets there. It's actually up. The arrow points down, so I'll have to fix that. I don't know what I was thinking there. And then this one goes with that, so that arrow points to this card, and it says the case of the Mondays. And here I just did a tiny bit of layering. I put one of those cut and print files and a wood veneer and sprinkled a couple of sequins. And it says, except my Mondays take place on Tuesday. Tuesday and Wednesday are pretty busy for me and Scott because I'm at work 14 hours those days. This is my desk at work. And then here we go. We've got these two here go together as well. So this is the journaling for it. It says, since Scott became a photographer, we don't order school photos anymore, but this year's photos are particularly nice, so we are thinking of getting the digital image. If they were always this nice, we'd order them every year. Love Livy's hair and Sophie's smile in particular. I mean, I love everything about both of them, but in this, what makes these photos really cool is I love Olivia's hair over to the side like that. It's very 80s. And Sophie just has such a beautiful smile in this photo. And so I just took a label sticker from, this is a Studio Calico label sticker. Comes in a package that looks like this, and this actually came in a previous This Life Noted kit from a couple of months ago. And I just layered it with one of the print and cut files from this month. And I just have the, it says copyright protected, do not copy, because I just cut up the proofs that they sent home with us. So I just cut those up because it's just for my pocket pages and for my own use. So I don't really care that they're not finished and they're not, you know, like they're not retouched and that sort of thing. And we haven't paid for them yet, but we are going to buy the digital image. But it's just for my scrapbook, so it doesn't really matter if it has the thing written over it. You can still get the gist of how it is a nicer than normal school photo. So then this one has to go on this side of the page protector with the pockets open because it's going to have this to slide in. And this is quite bulky, but it's one of those things that you put your fingers in and you go and you get your friend to pick a number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you do a little math problem inside, and then if you pick the right number, it gets you to name 8 breakfast foods. So anyways, I thought that this was really cute math homework, so I took a plain grid paper card, and I just used those stickers that go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the last one there wasn't room for a full sticker, so I just put one of the skinny stickers that says noted. I stapled them all across, and then I added the letter stickers from the kit that says math. And so that will go in like that, and it'll stick out a little bit. Then I have this Hunker Down With Me, which I just really liked by itself, so I didn't do anything to it. And then I have this 4x6 card, which is really, really basic and simple. It has 2 of those same sized photos that I've been talking about all along, a little caption for each, and arrows going down for this photo to say, you know, like the card that goes with this is there. And then here, I've made this arrow go up to say, you know, the picture that goes with this goes there. So it's kind of like up and down like that. So to go with the violin photo is this card, and it says, we are so happy you are involved with the strings program. I am proud that you are so committed, and I made a mistake in the word committed. There's 2 M's. And then you seem to have a natural talent for music. I was a little annoyed with myself there, but you know what? That's what pocket pages are all about. I just leave my mistakes in them. And then here's the journaling about poor Nixie at the vet, that she's still fighting her infection, and we're hoping that she feels better soon. And then this is just a photo with a label layered underneath of it. That's another label from the same Studio Calico set of labels. I'm getting a lot of use out of those this month. And I just used the cut apart that says that happened. It's a picture of Scott trying to fix the motor of my ski hill. It just says the motor on my ski hill did not work. We've been trying to fix it to no avail. By we, I mean Scott. And then for this card here, what I did was I noticed that it had this circle, this plain circle in the middle, so I just used the large circle rub-on and put it on there as a sentiment. It's just a cute little saying. Sometimes that thing you're looking for comes when you're not looking at all. So, wait a minute, I skipped 2 right here. This one is just, I took a screen cap of my free coffee that I got this time around and just mounted it on a 3x4 grid card. And then this is the ampersand, and I just layered a cut apart. This is a print and cut from the digital files, and just says The Good Life. Just put it there as a little filler card. So those are those 2. And now the last 2. All right, so the last 2 look like this. And This first one is the one that had the days of the week down the middle, but I didn't want to use that, so I just covered it up. This was a box of candy that was on my desk, and they're my favorite candy, so I just put my favorite candy down there and I outlined around it just for interest and fun, because I mean that's the kind of everyday stuff that I like to put in my pocket pages. Just kind of someday, you know, 10 or 20 years from now, I'm going to look back on this and think, oh yeah, I remember those. Maybe I won't be eating candy when I'm in my 60s and 70s. That would be nice. Maybe those will be a distant memory. Then I wanted to document this because I get such a kick out of these videos. I finally ordered the Beachbody's Rockin' Body workout. It's hilarious, fun, and painful in a good way. I only wish I had more time to do it. And so I took the I Need an 8th Day of the Week print and cut, and I put that there. And, or no, that's a cut apart, not a print and cut. And then this is just a piece of Rick Rack sticker from a border set of stickers from my stash. And if you watch the process video, you'll see me doing that. Then these two go together. Sort of. They don't have to go together, so I didn't put an arrow on them. But this is just the book that I'm reading, and it's layered with another 3x4 card that came in the kit, and I just said I'm rereading an old favorite. And I like that it shows my pajama bottoms. I was curled up on the couch reading this book. And I like that you can tell that there's a Project Life card just kind of sticking out of the top of it. Those are the kinds of context cues that I like to leave in photos, especially for pocket pages, because I'll remember these pajamas and say, oh yeah, whatever happened to those, or I remember where I got those, or whatever. Then I just put a little note in here that says I've decided not to buy any more Kindle ebooks, although I love reading on my iPad. I want the kids to see me reading actual books, because the kids think that I'm just on Facebook or something when I'm reading, and that annoys me a little bit. I want to get credit for reading if I'm reading. And, you know, like I want to be a good role model and stuff. So this is we have a big whiteboard that we use for family meetings and stuff. And lately we've been using it as a place to write down some of the chores that we need to do on a Sunday. So that's just a picture of that. And it just says weekend chore chart. And Marcel does have chores, but he wasn't home when we made that, so it was empty. He filled his in when he came home later on that day. Then this is just a filler card. I put the FAM flare badge there and another little print and cut piece of like a little banner that says Family and Friends. And then this one says, look how far we've come, and I absolutely love this card, so I didn't want to do anything to it because it's beautiful just as it is. And then this one, I'm not entirely in love with how this one came out. So I put the 1000 goodnight kisses right here because this is a picture of Sophie in bed, but you can't really see it all that well. Like you can if you look really hard, but I don't love how that turned out. But anyways, I did some journaling about each of these photos above and below. And that's all that I did with that one. And then this one is just the 4x6 grid card with some journaling below each photo. So that's what that looks like. And I put these two together because they're related. They both took place in my scrap room. And then this one, I used a 3x4 card, but I cut off the yellow edge of it there. And it says look both ways because I'm about to drive out my driveway. And then this is a print and cut, and then this is a flare badge, and I just put this is what being on time looks like. And then on Tuesdays and Wednesdays I need to leave at 7:20 to get to work on time. I actually took a picture, even though it doesn't include the clock. I took a picture because I never leave on time. Like I'm always 7:23, 7:28, 7:25, 7:22. I'm never on time. And this time I was actually putting the car into drive, and I looked at the clock and it said 7:20. Well, the reason I didn't take a picture is because it actually said 8:20 because I haven't changed my clock since the time moved back. So it wouldn't have made any sense if I took a picture of the clock. So I just took a picture of my dash and kind of like the fact that the road is empty when I'm leaving because everybody's still getting ready. Then I'm just going to put these two in a pocket just like this because I really like this and I really like this, and so I think they look nice together, and that's all that I'm going to do with that. And then for this, I took this card that has the numbers and the bands of color and the vertical one. And I took a piece of vellum paper and I cut it down a little bit, and I did some journaling so that the journaling falls on 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. You can't really see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all that well, but you can see the bands of color. And so these are kind of like 5 points about our trip that weekend. So we rented a minivan for a trip to New Glasgow. We set up in the back of the pharmacy for story time with Santa photos. I drove Marcel to his friend's house so he could hang out with him all day. The girls and I spent the day at Highland Mall shopping and having lunch. Sammy's party was a blast, so fun to see her grow. And that goes with this and this and this. But I didn't feel like I needed to put arrows because it's kind of obvious. Then we took advantage of the warm weather on Remembrance Day, and I didn't do more journaling than that because it's obvious what we're doing. So Marcel is putting up the lights. I'm trying to be less redundant with my journaling. I find like sometimes my journaling is just like explaining what's in the photo, which is, I don't need to explain what's in the photo. I don't like doing that. So I'm going to try really hard to not do that anymore. So the thing to add to this photo is that it was a nice warm day and it was Remembrance Day. So that's why I did that journaling. This is another label from that same Studio Calico label set. These are awesome. I've gotten so much use out of those. Oops, this one is upside down and it's just an ampersand. And I was thinking I could use it plain if I ran out of energy or time, and then I could do something to it if I had time or energy, and I ended up not having time and energy, so it's plain. But it's, you know, I spent 3 hours doing this, and I just wanted to finish in 3 hours. I didn't want to go overtime at all, so I didn't do that. But I think it looks nice just the way it is. I could do this side if I wanted to, but I like the dark side better. So now this card says Mall Rats. It's again the same grid paper with 2 photos on it. This is one of the print and cuts, and I just put a sequin on it. I used the letter stickers that came in the kit to spell out Mall Rats and did some journaling in pink there. And then this is a banner that was all one piece and it said more of this, less of that. I cut it apart and outlined it. And I also outlined around the edge of it. And my outline was kind of messy, so I just added these little messy squigglies just to make it look like it was messy on purpose. And then last but not least, I had one 4x6 photo, which I only had because it was someone else's photo. And so I printed it up and trimmed it down a tiny bit so I could have a little border on it. I added one of the print and cuts and a roller date stamp with some journaling, and that's what that looks like. I think I mentioned everything, so that is it. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. As I mentioned, I'll be putting together a process video, but it probably won't be up on Friday, like today, which is Friday, but it might be up on Saturday or something. So thanks so much for watching, everybody, and have a really great scrappy week.